Good day, gents, and welcome to another episode of Father's Fire. My name's Jody Cedric, and every week we get together to explore the joys, the challenges, the triumphs, the sorrows, and yes, the fun of being a dad. And I tell you guys, I look forward to our conversations every single week. I want to thank you for joining me as we explore what it takes to ignite the fire within us to become better fathers, better husbands, to ultimately become better men. And I tell you, it can be a real challenge. And for Christmas this year, I asked my secret Santa. We draw names because there's so many of us, and so I put out on the family text that I would really like the book Battle Cry by Jason Wilson. It actually has a subtitle: Battle Cry: Waging and Winning the War Within. And I it's given me an opportunity to really look at myself, to reflect, to look inward, to self-assess, to go, all right, Jody, where are you maybe emotionally stunted? You're maybe emotionally holding back when you can open up your heart. And it's funny because often my wife teases me, kind of half teasing, half serious, like, man, how come you don't cry? How come you don't, feel the same things that I do? And I always tell her I do. I just express it differently. And I wonder if that expression differently is healthy. Sometimes I think it is, but sometimes maybe we men, excuse me, we hold things too close to the chest and we don't give ourselves an opportunity to share the true feelings of our heart as well as share the feelings of our heart with those that we love. And I think it's really important that we take a look at that. It's given me opportunity to go back and listen to some of the podcasts that I've had earlier with men that I really respect. Garrett Crone, I had a two-part series that I'm going to put a link in the footnotes to. He and I talked about the father wound that a lot of us men are walking around. There's a big gaping hole in the shape of our dad, in the image of our dad, because either he was abusive, he was absent, whatever, he was addicted to alcohol or whatever. That whatever character flaw that he had as a dad has impacted and put a hole in your heart and your mind and your soul and caused you to protect your heart and in some ways put a wall around yourself that prevents you from truly connecting with those that you love. I think a lot of times we men wear masks. We have such a warrior ethos in our society that we've been taught, just buckle up, butter, take two. Buckle up, buttercup. All right, take two. Good day, gents, and welcome to another episode of Father's Fire. My name's Jody Cedric, and every week we get together to explore the joys, the challenges, the triumphs, the sorrows, and yes, the fun of being a dad. And I tell you, man, I really look forward to the opportunity to visit with you guys. A lot of times I have other men that I interview. Today it's just you and I visiting. And I've been really reflective, as it's a new year, but also that reflection has been provided by me reading a book. The book is titled Battle Cry. It's written by Jason Wilson. You've probably seen him on YouTube, on TikTok, all over the place because he's out of Detroit, runs a martial arts program for young boys, and really is not just teaching them martial arts, but teaching them how to tap into the inner emotion, the inner strength of a young boy, of those feelings that he experiences and is willing to say, look, it's okay to share that you're concerned or you're fearful or you have doubt. And he does a really good job of making these boys, helping these boys recognize that it's okay to share your emotions, and to be vulnerable. Because when we're vulnerable, it enables us to look at ourselves and become better men. And it's really given me the opportunity to look inward and go, all right, Jody, where are you holding back? Where have you put walls around your heart? Where are you not sharing where you need to? In fact, my wife often jokes, both joking and serious. She often says, well, how come you don't express emotion the way I do? How come you're not crying? How come you're not, whatever? And I often tell her, it's not that I don't feel that, sweetheart. I absolutely feel that, but I just handle it differently. And it's not that it's better or worse. It's just that's the way that I work through those feelings. And it's really made me look at that. And I think, we have in our society such a warrior ethos that it's easy for us as, especially being conditioned from being a young man, to buckle up, buttercup, pull up your bootstraps and get to work, and, put on a stoic face and steel your shoulders and get to work and push your feelings and your intentions down for the responsibility and the obligation that you have as a man. And I think over time that is unhealthy. And we've created a situation where there are many men walking through life that have serious emotional trauma because they pushed it so far down that now it's bubbling up and edified in anger or addiction or frustration or impatience, when at the core we're really just feeling sorrow. And so I've had an opportunity to really think about that, and I've revisited a couple of the podcasts that I had earlier, uh, two with Garrett Crone, where we explore the father wound, and my new friend, and just exploring what it means to really tap into that emotional side of us as men. I think we often tend to wear masks, and probably the biggest mask that we wear is the mask of providing, of bravado, of saying, look, I'm going to work, I'm bringing home the bacon, that's my job. And we wear it as a mask, not only as a badge of honor, but also maybe as a shield of how we're truly feeling in ourselves when we're at home, feeling inadequate, feeling like we can't really open up to our kids or our wife. And so rather than face that ineptitude on our parts to be able to open that side of us that so drastically needs to be open, we put on the mask, we put on the shield and the armor, and we go off to work and we hide. And we hide in the name of providing for our family, instead of going, you know what, I need to release some of this baggage that has been on my mind and my heart for so many years, and really look at myself in a new way that will enable me to truly connect with my wife. I think, so many times, I talk to Shawnee the Kid, who I have had as a guest on this podcast in the Man to Man episodes. So many women are yearning for a connection with their husband. And the husband often says, well, I bring home the bacon, that's enough. Well, it's not enough. No, we not only have to provide for our family financially and having a good home, but we need to provide emotionally, we need to provide spiritually. And I think part of the challenge is that we as young men, as young boys, have been conditioned in a way that doesn't allow us or hasn't given us the tools to tap in, as evidenced by this clip that I'm taking from RJD in our episode just a couple weeks ago. Now, when you look at that, How many of us guys have been, you know, put aside? We fell or we stumbled or we tripped up. And what was the response from both our mom and our dad? Come on, get up. It's okay. Brush it off and move forward. And we've been so busy brushing off the true emotions of our heart that we've never been able to confront them and face them and learn how to deal with them in a productive and healthy manner. I think a lot of men too struggle with the idea that if people really knew me, if people really knew me, they wouldn't like me. The problem with that idea is a lot of men are walking around, they're good providers, and they're putting on a show, they're wearing the mask, but inside, they don't feel that they're really worthy of the outside accolades of being a good manager, a good business owner, good whatever. But inside, we're going, man, if you guys really knew who I am, who I was, who I have been, you wouldn't like me. The problem with that idea is we're viewing ourselves out of the lens of the past. There's something that was said to you or that you fell short on that you didn't achieve. I mean, it's easy for me to go, man, I really regret 3 decisions in my life. There are 3 decisions that I regret. And it's easy to go and define myself by those decisions instead of going, those were experiences in my life. Yes, they were not my brightest moments. In fact, they were some of my darker moments as a man, as a person, as a child of God. But as dark as they were, I've used those to move forward. I've used those as learning experiences to become who I am today. And we often look at ourselves from the lens of yesterday instead of looking at who we've become. Because most of the people in your circle, especially if they're in business, they see who you've become. The challenge is, especially in families, a lot of times people have walked with you through what you were, the ugly side of you, the side that was angry, impatient, that was addicted to porn, addicted to drugs, that was an alcoholic. And they have felt the ramifications of those choices. And while they are trying to see who you've become, they still have the hurt and the hole that was caused by those experiences. And that's real, that's authentic, and that's okay. And you have to have the fortitude to lean in and go, yes, you know what? That's who I was, but this is who I am working to become. Look how far I've come. I'm so sorry for who I was, but look what I'm doing today to become the man, the husband, the father that you yearn for, the man that I yearn to become. And I think a lot of times, especially in the case of addiction, or even just, feeling less about ourselves, we're feeling our time with addictions, porn, alcohol, the driving range, working in the garage, working on the yard. We're filling our time to fill that hole that's in our heart. Instead of going, I need to look at that hole, as painful it is, and I need to figure out a way to fill that, to make it whole, to heal it. And oftentimes, healing takes time. It takes little incremental changes, little incremental moments of forgiveness, little incremental opportunities to go, you know what? You're doing better. to celebrate how far you've come. And I think that's so important. The challenge is, and points out in his book, The Battle Cry, we have to step back. And in order to win the war within, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be truly honest with ourselves. And if we can do that, then we can identify those little things that, while they seem insignificant, that we can work on every day, every week, and become better. I mean, imagine what it would be like if you could be 1% kinder every week. 1% kinder every week. What would that do in a year? How would that affect your relationship with your wife? How would that affect your relationship with your kids? I'd like to invite you to do something this week. I have a personal journal that I'm showing right here. And I take time, try to do it every day. That's my goal for 22, to really get back into doing it every day. And I want to, make sure that I'm recording things that I'm grateful for, but I want to take a quiet moment. And that may be for you going up in the foothills and taking a run, or going for a walk around your neighborhood, or going for a drive, or going and playing some golf, or reading a book. But I would like you, and I would invite you to take a moment, take 15, 30 minutes, and just be quiet. Just be still. And I want you to look at yourself. And I want you to take note of those things, the little things, not the big things. I mean, and I don't want you to get all down on yourself and start, digging a deeper hole for yourself. I want you to look at yourself and go, what are the little things that I could change this week? Can I maybe bite my tongue? Can I maybe say an encouraging word? Can I maybe, write a little note to my kids and put it in their lunch and say, hey, you know what? Dad loves you. Is there, can I spend 30 minutes off the internet or off TV and spend it with my kids reading a book? Look at something, identify one thing, and just write a list of those little things and record them. And do that every single day. All right. Did I do better? Now, what is one thing that I can do? Now, what is one thing that you would like to be different about your life? And take the next week and really, really focus on just honing in on that one thing. When you get done with the week, look back, see how you did. Did you do better? And then take it on for another week. And do that for 30 days, an entire month. And see if you're not beginning to see the change in you. But also that you're not inspired to become even better. That you're not encouraged by your progress, and that you're not moving forward in a positive direction. Because guys, when we can face the dragon, who is us, sometimes that dragon's breathing down our neck. He's got claws and he's breathing fire. He's got flame in his eyes. And with one swoop of fail of his tail, he can knock us over. But if we can look at ourselves and go, all right, what is one thing? What is one thing about the dragon who is me? And we're going to start with one thing, one fingernail, one minute scale, one way that we look at other people. And we're going to say, you know what? I'm going to start there. I can't slay the dragon. I can't slay the dragon all in one piece. But I can, little by little, like a whittling knife, take off those rough edges until I become the man that I'm aspiring to be. Guys, we're all wearing masks. The question is can you take off your mask and look yourself in the mirror and become comfortable with who you are as a man and be willing to connect on a level that you've never connected with your family, with your children, with your wife in 2022? Man, you can do it. I invite you to do it. I'm inviting myself to do it because there's areas that, yeah, Jody's still a little rough around the edges. I often joke I'm like Beetlejuice. Remember the movie where he's in that little chapel and he gets all these thorns poking out all over his body and the person picks him up? I think that's the way God is with me. It's like he's, picking me up all thorny and with all my flaws, and he's taking one at a time and picking them off. And that's our opportunity, guys. Let us help God in the work that he's doing in our life by taking a look at ourselves and going, you know what? I can be a little better this week. Man, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me. I invite you to go get this book, Battle Cry, Waging and Winning the War with Him by Jason Wilson. And if you haven't picked up my book, please, I think it'll help you as well. Learn to dance with the currents of life when you feel like drowning, because sometimes life challenges can really get you. So anyway, you guys have a fantastic day. Please go out and check out those other episodes, episode 33, episode 34. Those are with Garrett Crone. And then episode 155 with RJD The Imperfect Gentleman. I'm telling you, there are nuggets that will help you guys this week. And I want to thank you again for joining me. And we will check you same time, same bad channel, just next week. See ya!